Today we're going to cover Bitcoin's next steps and where I believe it's going from here. So right now it's at 58,100, just below that 58,200 resistance, and actually went down to 56,000 today on new fears of the new monkeypox global emergency. Now, for anyone who's been watching my tweets or videos, I've always said they're going to have another COVID-like pandemic and where it's going to create another lockdown ahead of the election to cause more mail-in ballots, and then the Fed's going to come in with the global stimulus package. Now, I can guarantee you that's exactly what's going to happen, but what I cannot guarantee is how big of a lockdown it will be, since people are more privy to what happened last time with COVID, and again, how those vaccines ended up being more harmful than helpful. I seriously doubt people are going to fall for it again. Not to mention monkeypox is much less transmissible and much less dangerous versus COVID. So there's very few ways to transmit it versus just being particularly airborne like COVID was and more easily transmissible there. So that's something else. But again, all this fear is being spread. There's now a couple cases in San Francisco. So just more things to cause lockdowns. But guys, don't fall for it. Again, it's just another one of those things that the deep state's trying to put into play, and people aren't going to fall for it this time around. But on that note, we do see that Bitcoin and crypto is declining on those fears because, again, anytime there's scares or uncertainties in the market, you're going to have these big sell-offs. And right now what I'm watching is this 58,200 level. So you can see here on the RSI on the daily, it has been bouncing off this signal line, which is bullish, but it's right below this big resistance. So you can see this level acted as support all the way back in May, support again in June, and then resistance July, and then it broke through and acted as support back above in August, and then now it's breaking back below. So we're gonna have to see if this acts as resistance again. Now, something else to keep in mind is this 200 EMA. So it is now below the 200 EMA, which, as you know, if it stays below it for a big amount of time, then that basically signals a trend shift, a more bearish trend. So we're going to be interested to see if it stays below it for a couple more days like happened at the beginning of August, or it can break back above it. But right now, again, with all the fear about this MPOX, monkeypox, it's going to be interesting to see if we continue under it. But what I am watching, if it does continue to fall through, is this big trend line that I drew here. Now, if you go on the weekly chart, you can see that this trend line actually stems all the way from March of 2020. So this trend line has been respected multiple times, acted as resistance December of 2023, finally broke above it and acted as support. So if we do end up breaking below and rejecting off of this 58,200 level, then what I'm looking for is potentially for us, one, to retest this trend line near this 53,800 level. So I can easily see us retest this, which also coincides with the 50 EMA, the weekly 50 EMA. So again, watching this level very, very closely, but at the very least, potentially we could end up seeing even 50,000. So depending on how deep it ends up going. I know I've seen some calls before around 44,000, which does coincide with the weekly 100 EMA, which also is around the level that BlackRock bought Bitcoin for its clients. So people are targeting this as well. Again, it all just depends on how much fear the government and the World Health Organization spreads about this new monkeypox global pandemic. Again, it's not as dangerous. There's very, very few ways to transmit it, and again, there should be no reason why people are scared of it. But again, people are going to play this up just for that lockdown scare, for those mail-in ballots, for the stimulus afterwards. So it's all part of the game. But right now, what I'm watching the daily chart. If it does close back above 58.2 on the daily, then I'm going to target this next resistance of that 61,800. If not, and we reject off the daily, because technically we have closing below it, then I'll be looking for this next level around this 53,000 level. 53.8 really coincides with this close that we had during that big drawdown August 5th. So again, that would be a good level of support as well, besides this trend line at 53. So watching these levels here, what I would say, guys, is just stay out of leverage, be careful, because it's going to be volatile for August and September. It's historically been bearish months in August and September for crypto. Something I will say is we do have the debate September 10th for President Trump and Kamala Harris. And then also you have the interest rate cut decision September 17th or 18th from the FOMC meeting. So that's another thing that, again, if interest rates are cut, then we could see Bitcoin dominance fall a month to two later, and then altcoins rise afterwards, which would fall nicely for a Q4 rally, which also is the time when those $12.7 billion of refunds from FTX are expected to go out. So again, there's a lot of catalysts for Q4. I do think that we will start to see bullish action then, but until then, it's all about survival right now, especially with the uncertainty. Again, still in the Middle East, plus now this new quote-unquote global pandemic. So gonna be interested to see what happens here, but hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, I'll be covering this more on my Twitter and Telegram as well, so definitely follow me on there if you aren't. And please like the video if you liked it. Please comment if you have any questions and subscribe if you haven't. Really appreciate all my subscribers. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time.